Even the civil rights movement was a bunch of riots, wasn't it? The blacks are aggrieved, therefore they have the right to riot. So, moving on. Let's see. Okay, so come with me to being ignored as a black shopper. So, I mean, do we juxtapose? Let's do this. We have to do this. Okay, we have to do this.
Shopper at the Los Gatos Apple Store. And yes, you heard that correctly. I documented my experience.
I have to do this. This is so important. Yeah. Wait. This is very important. So, come with me to being ignored as a black shopper, right? Let's go.
Come with me to be ignored as a black shopper at the Los Gatos Apple Store. And yes, you heard that correctly. I documented my experience being ignored as a black shopper in Los Gatos, California. Let's get into it. I walked into the store fully intending to buy an iPhone 17 in black, 256 gigabytes. I had done my research and I knew exactly what I wanted. The first thing I noticed when I walked into the store is that nobody greeted me. Meanwhile, customers that had walked in before me as well as after me were being greeted. And this is when I decided to start my stopwatch. I was curious to see how long it would take for an employee to come up to me and see if I had any questions or was ready to buy the phone. I was so sure that in the next few minutes somebody was going to approach me, but spoiler alert, this did not happen. Interestingly enough, a couple walked in a couple minutes after I did and they were greeted and helped right away. And actually, an employee escorted them over to look at phones near where I was and ended up leaving this phone overturned in the process. Now, this part should not matter whatsoever, but this is what I was wearing. Nothing too crazy. It's raining outside. I also had my Italian leather purse that's probably worth more than what these employees make in a day, but I digress. The other thing that made this experience even more enjoyable is that while these employees were not coming up to me to say hi, they definitely were looking over at me over and over again to make sure I probably wasn't stealing from them. If you're a black person in America and you're shopping in a predominantly white area, then you know it's so rare to have a decent shopping experience. Store employees will either follow you around the store or they'll completely ignore you while watching you with their eyes to make sure you don't steal from them. Now, I actually started my timer a bit late. At this point, I had been in the store for about 15 minutes with no greeting and employees staring at me with no one offering to help. So I decided it was time to go. Not the employee looking at me as I'm walking out, making eye contact. Overall, it was a horrible shopping experience, and I'm so saddened that our community has to experience this over and over again.
Okay. All right. Let's go back and listen to what she had to say. There's something she said that stood out to me. Let's listen.
And you're shopping in a predominantly white area, then you know it's so rare who wasn't stealing from them. If you're a black person in America and you're shopping in a predominantly white area, then you know it's so rare to have a decent shopping experience. Store employees will either follow you around the store or they'll completely ignore you while watching you with their eyes to make sure you don't steal from them. Now,
Okay. So, as a black person who intends to buy an iPhone, let's listen. Let's just listen to it. This is just black people are exhausted.
I actually started my timer a bit late. At this point, I had been in the store for about 15 minutes with no greeting and employees staring at me.
So this is what she did. This is what happened, guys. I want you guys to listen. This black person walks into an Apple store with the alleged purported intent of buying an iPhone. That is why she came to the store. She came to the store to buy an iPhone. She looked at different iPhones. She looked for a specific configuration. Her problem and the basis of her accusation of racism is that nobody left what they were doing to come and greet the queen of black people for the day. If your intent is to buy an iPhone, you look for the iPhone and you call the employee. In fact, as a black queen, you can summon the employee and say, employee of the iPhone whose salary is not up to the purse I came with, come and serve me. Bring me an iPhone of 256 gigabytes, color black, of course, and I will pay with Apple Pay or with credit or with whatever EBT, whatever it is that she's going to use as her means of commerce. But she tells us in her own words that she walked around an iPhone store for 15 minutes and left not buying anything. Exactly. They knew you were not there to buy anything. You were there to look for trouble. Just like your brother here. We all know you're not there to buy an iPhone, but we know you're there to steal. That's the point. If your intent, and we explained this in one of the previous videos about the LA riots, black people don't understand the custom. The custom of the store is you walk in and you are, yes, you may not be greeted. It's possible. You may not have been seen. or people are avoiding you because they don't want to have a racist interaction. So you complain about being ignored, or you complain about being followed. Oprah, everyone from Oprah to Michelle Obama has a problem with being quote unquote followed in stores. No, Black Queen, you are being attended to. No, Wendy Williams, you are being attended to. So if the person, the shop attendant, the assistant, is following you around, you say, oh, I need help with X, I need help with Y. And they are bound to assist you because that is the custom. As a customer, you were not there as a customer, you were there as an activist. You were there to make some kind of point by standing around, walking around an iPhone store for 15 minutes without actually getting anything done. You spend 15 minutes of your life to just walk around an iPhone store with the alleged claim that you had an intention of buying the iPhone.
With no one offering to help, so I decided it was time to go.
Not the employee looking at me as I'm walking out.
Okay, funny thing, this person is, she's not black. She's not black American. She is some kind of second generation African for sure. Like yeah, she's like off the boat. She came off the boat. Maybe even first generation, honestly, because she doesn't look like a proper Black American. She has a very strange accent. She grew up in a white area. Her voice and her face just doesn't look like a proper American. So this is clearly an immigrant in my eyes.
Eye contact.
Overall, it was a horrible shopping experience, and I'm so
Shopping? You didn't shop. You walked around an iPhone store for 15 minutes. Let's look at the comments. She says, so she didn't make an appointment like the rest of them. Imagine walking to the most arrogant Sunday store in America and getting ignored by celebrity employees, then blame it on imaginary racism. There's only one racist. Oh, come on. Don't even start that. I've never done an episode without someone approaching me immediately to ask if I need help. It's almost like the reputation precedes them or something. The reputation precedes them. She didn't go there to shop. She went there to make some kind of political point. Because if you truly wanted the iPhone, you would have just gone and bought it. Apparently, you even have to make appointments to buy iPhones. Strange, but whatever. Moving on. I cannot stand these people, bro. I cannot. Okay, so this is let's look at this guy. Let's break him down. This is an average black person. It's an afro. I think he has some twists. His name it's Reg Too Funny on Twitch. Follow him, I guess. Tattoos, on the neck, on the arms. I mean, just looking at him, looking at the darkness of his lips, the tattoos on his body, he clearly takes drugs. There's no way this guy can tell me he's going to pass a drugs test. There's just no way for like marijuana or any of these other substances that black people like to consume. And isn't that the problem? That this guy, maybe he was from the streets, like we heard Terrell Owens said, and now he's found, a way to avoid the streets. Content creation, streaming on Twitch. Maybe he can make some money. His apartment, background looks quite big. So I guess he's doing well for himself. But he makes an observation that is very important to discussions around race that have even been echoed by Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson said something similar to what this boy is about to say, and I want you to listen. Let's play it.
Even as a black person, sometimes, keep it real, you can't understand where white people coming from sometimes.
Don't say sometimes. It's something that happens often, something that happens all the time. You don't say sometimes. I try not to use those words like sometimes or sometimes. This happens sometimes. No, there's no such thing as sometimes. It's either it happens or it doesn't. And it happens. How often it happens is irrelevant, but it does happen. And there's a difference between something happening once and something happening. It happens more than once, that means it happens.
Real shit. Like, I drive by a gas station, I see about 8 niggas sagging hard as a bitch, clutching bad as a bitch, switches, automatic weapons, ARPs, shiesty masks, Nike ticks, don't wash their ass. I can't go in that bitch. I straight get to start feeling like a white man.
Okay. Basically, he's speaking English, but because of his condition, it's not something that normal people can comprehend. But what he's saying is, for example, at night, you are driving, maybe you need to get some gasoline in your car, and you pull up to the gasoline station, and you see 8 young black people dressed similarly to him, probably with their trousers down below their butt cracks to show that they've been to prison. They're holding weapons, they're holding semi-automatic pistols which have been converted to fully automatic weapons. And he says that when he sees such people at a gas station, he is going to avoid the gas station. And when he does that, he feels like a white person. But that is just simple pattern recognition. What he's trying to say is that he's racist, quote unquote, and he feels like a white person because clearly, as you can see him, he has left that socio-economic bracket, quote unquote, that somehow forces black people to sit around the gas station waiting for prey to rob. People who pull up to gas stations at night to buy gas, and you see a bunch of black people, and as a white person who has been educated and browbeaten, brainwashed and browbeaten into, I don't see race, I don't think this 8 black people with guns are going to rob me. You go there, you get robbed. This happens in Detroit all the time. We have those stories. Colin does have those stories. And he is simply speaking about recognizing patterns, or what people call it profiling. He's speaking about profiling. He's profiled them and understands that if I enter this trap, if I enter this realm, if I enter this web of black crime and violence and hostility, I might become a victim. Therefore, I avoid them. And when I do avoid them, I feel like a white person. So even though he's making a point that he understands where white people are coming from, he's reinforcing these notions at the same time. That's black people. For you, there's a strange duality with everything that they say. They're not forthright.
Hey, let's go. This is dangerous. You just start feeling like a white.
You can see he's doing the voice. So he's mocking white people for avoiding blacks while talking about the fact that he does it himself, not because he's racist, but for his own safety. Why aren't white people allowed to do things and take actions and make decisions that preserve their own safety?
Hey, honey, let's go. This is dangerous.
So, a white man with his wife, probably kids in the back. He knew. Why is he giving that as an example? Because he knows he has probably been part of that group of YNs that have robbed white people in the past. He's speaking from experience.
It's like sometimes you can't, I ain't gonna lie, as a black person, like if you be cool and hard, every black nigga who be cool and hard is a bitch know this. It's like sometimes you be like, damn, I could kind of see where they coming from. Cause like, think about it. If you got 2 options. It's nighttime, it's dark as a bitch. It's 2 streets. It's one street with 8 black niggas. And it's another street with 8 white niggas. We both know which street you gonna feel most safe for walking down.
We both know. So he is speaking for all black people. Whenever a black person speaks, as far as I am concerned, he speaks for all black people. Of course. Because whenever black people speak, they all speak individually and collectively for black people. Like Eric Spence does all the time. And he says we both know which side of the road you're going to be. If you have a road side with white people and a road side with black people, he's saying and implying, and I hope he does say it, that the side with the white people is safer. If that is true, and it is true, what then is racism? I will wait for the answer to that question. I'm not going to get it, so let's continue the video.
If you by yourself and it's dark as a bitch, because if you walking down the street by yourself, 8 black niggas, shit, I don't know about nowhere else, but if you walking, I ain't gonna lie, if it's late as a bitch and you walking down the street in Louisiana and you see 8 black niggas, it's all with for you. I promise you, you need to put your pride to the side and try to hurry up and evade them niggas in any way you can. Try to hop somebody's fence or some shit or find another gateway. Evade is all. I
want you to hear that again. I will translate what he's saying into English, but I want you to listen to this again.
Like, if it's late as a bitch and you walking down the street in Louisiana and you see 8 black niggas, it's all with for you. I promise you, you need to put your pride to the side and try to hurry up and.
If you're walking through the street at night and you see 8 black people on the street in Louisiana, you have to put your pride to the side.
It's all with